The regular season's come to an end. I do want to go through the off season before we switch over to some road to the show. Let's see how the playoffs pan out with how things have gone so far this year. I'm actually excited for this off season, though. I am excited for this off season. So let's see how it plays out. Let's see who's going to win it. We've seen Minnesota. We've seen Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, and it's Cincinnati yet again. The Reds beat the Guardians to win their second World Series, I believe, in 3 years, as they sweep the Guardians. Wow. So the Cincinnati Reds get it done one more time. De La Cruz, they added Adley Rutschman, Hunter Green, Tanner Scott, Alec Bohm, Michael King. So Ellie's the real deal in this timeline. Not that he isn't in real life, but hey, you never know. So your award winners: Rhys Hines, I believe it's Rhys, right? Wins World Series MVP. I always see that name and I'm like, I have easier time with Finnish names than I do with that. But he was World Series MVP. Ellie was the postseason MVP, leading the way there, while Yon Kenzie Noel really helped out with Cleveland on the way there. Your NL MVP, Peter Alonso, which, yeah, he deserved it. Remember when we almost signed Ketel Marte? It's now back-to-back. Can you show the Reds roster? Iggy, I just did. You missed it. You missed it. But Pete Alonso is there. And then AL side, Kyle Tucker. Yep, absolutely the deserving winner. And back-to-back MVPs for Kyle Tucker, who again signed a big deal. He's still getting paid $36 million for 3 more years. AL Cy Young goes to Bryce Miller for the second time in 3 years. I'm not surprised it went to him, but man, Ken Copeland struck out 251 people. Screw your velocity and your break. It really is all about the per nines, isn't it? Also, he suffered a head fracture. So, ugh. And then NL-wise, Paul Skeens back-to-back. Tough to disagree with, although Sasaki with 224 Ks is very impressive. NL batting title for the second year in a row, Ivan Herrera. We made the right choice, keeping Herrera around. We really did. And then AL-wise, it was Kyle Tucker. Reliever of the year in the AL, Chris Bubich. Over Emmanuel Cross. The Cross A. Tough to say. I mean, he had the lower ERA, but I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. And an NL reliever of the year, Drew Rasmussen of the Braves. I don't know about that one either, man. Just 30 strikeouts. And Tanner Scott struck out more than twice as many people and had 3 more saves. Your NL Rookie of the Year, Alexis Alonso, as Tony Gonzalez finishes second. Yeah, Alonso played the full season as the starter. If Gonzalez had played the full season, I think he would have won Rookie of the Year. On the American League side, Ken Copeland. No surprise there. Hank Aaron Awards, Kyle Tucker, James Wood. Did we have any Gold Glove winners this year? Ethan Salas finished 3rd at catcher behind Connor Wong and Ryan Jeffers. So that's awesome. Like, if your offense is going to suck, we need you to be a Gold Glover. He nearly was. Do we have anybody else in the mix? Michael Ciani is a Gold Glove winning center fielder after finishing runner-up to PCA last year. Let's go, Mike. Not the best at the plate by any means, but a defensive monster. Not bad. We'll take that. To the off-season we go. Retired players, Zach Kelly. No, it's Zach Kelly. Trying to fight off a sneeze. It's not working. Excuse me. Garrett Cole retired as a Tiger, no less. Bailey Dees. What a name. Paul Blackburn's gone. Phineas Del Bonta Smith. Kyle Kashioka. And Cole for the Hall of Fame. Wow, no Hall of Fame for Garrett Cole, but Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve. Going to the Hall of Fame with a 10 trash can salute. Cole isn't a Hall of Famer. But for what he can do in this video game, you know? All right, John Means, good player for us this year, but we're going to let you go. No staff members to worry about. Noted left field all of a sudden. That's what they're doing with him. All right, so yeah, we will indeed let go of John Means. Ellie De La Cruz just signed a 9-year, $326 million offer with the Reds. Holy shit. And it's oh my God, it's a rising contract too. He's going to get paid $50 million in 2038. Just like Juan Soto. Fair enough. All right. Yes, I'd like to stop simulating. Okay. So looking at the team here. Of course, we have Salas at catcher, which is good. And we got a bunch of dudes here as well. All that is well and good. First base, we're fine. With Herrera and Chunky, we're fine, even if we move Herrera back to catcher, which we won't. Second base, Tony Gonzalez. Now, obviously, we could look at moving Luis Garcia back. There is an argument about a second base improvement. There is an argument, certainly, about a third base improvement. There is certainly an argument about improving at shortstop. Evan Carter's got a year left. There is still an argument about making an improvement on Ciani. And then Jordan Walker's got a year left. With the pitching staff we have, I mean, an extra reliever, certainly. And then maybe another starter. But we got so many guys in the mix at starter, like, we got to kind of see what's up there, you know? So first and foremost, Rule 5 eligible. Who's the last guy on the list? Corbin Martin, who is certainly going. Chris, whoa, what the fuck happened there? Chris Bonds, we don't care if we lose. Daryl Fader, we don't care if we lose. Yeah, even if we lose Derek Fritz, whatever. Arbitration, Josh Swanger. 6.4. We'll offer him 4.3 through arbitration. And we'll see what the deal is with Mr. Swanger. All right, and then as far as the other contracts are concerned, we have more renewable deals. Everyone's favorite screen. That takes 6 damn years to go through. But it is the best way, of course, to keep players for pretty much dirt cheap. Paul Skeen's a free agent, apparently. Here's hoping. Or just that he outright is. And if he is, then you know we're going after him. Let's see, Tim Ramos, you're not going anywhere. Daryl Fader, honestly, let's just keep you so I don't have to sign random scrub-a-dubs. But then again, we have so many first basemen. But he might not be a first baseman next year. Because we still have Tim fucking Tebow, who isn't getting any better. He's so bad. Why is Tim Tebow so bad at baseball? Fuck. Khalil Watson's terrible. Escobedo's pretty bad. We'll just let go of those two. Right. Yeah, we'll let go of those two for now. Mooney, Furman, let's keep Villarreal. Lombard, you're going to stick around. Eric Brown, we'll let go of. Tulibits, we got to keep you. Sacco can go. Martin can go. Cruz can go. We'll definitely be keeping Pedro Rincon. Tebow's our mascot. That's one way to put it. Him and Choo Choo. Let's keep Ibanez, Rodriguez, Kevin Black, the worst projected first overall pick I've ever seen. JJ Weatherholt. Weatherholt is now a major league level center fielder, which is interesting. We just have options there. And then Mr. Tibbs, Mr. Ullman, and Mark Valley. Closers, the Hoopa. Gonna keep Darren Drake around. Shannon Blanton. Dan Montez? Yeah, he's only 22. Now, if this roster looks like it is turning the corner, again, and we have all that money to spend, we could still just be like, screw it, Juan Soto be the missing piece, you know? Maybe not Juan Soto, but maybe like a Bryce Harper, who might be closer to that deal expiring. So it won't completely cripple us for the rest of this run. See, let's just keep renewing these deals. Good old Tank. Yeah, but Tank's up to an 80. That's not bad. Yeah, we are just going to keep all of you around. James Bond. Bryce only get like $30 million a year. Yeah. Keep McGreevy around. Rashik. I mean, keep all of you around for dirt cheap. Why not? Technically, we could be saving some money here and there, but I don't even need to worry about saving money. We have $135 million to spend right now. It's kind of ridiculous. And by kind of, I mean it's very ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as having to hit the same couple of buttons over and over again to renew these deals instead of just like clicking a check mark next to someone's name saying, hey, renew that contract. You know? But we made it. Again, Escobedo sucked. Sure we could sign him back if we had to. All right, cool. So free agency headlined by Paul Skeens. In terms of the team needs, we're still looking at those infield positions, and we're looking at center field. So let's go, honestly, left-handed and right-handed batter. Let's go starting pitcher. Tough to say. Between short, center. Let's go center and then one of the infield positions. We'll just pick shortstop. Why not? So Paul Skeens is the top player out there. Looking for $40 million a year. We don't need catchers this year, but top catcher is Austin Wells. I mean, again, we are set at catcher. You got Bo Naylor, Patrick Bailey, Tyler Stevenson, but yeah, we don't need anybody at catcher. Like, we're even fine from a backup perspective. Like, we don't need to spend any sort of big money here. I mean, technically, we could go for like Matt Tyus as like or Sam Huff as like an upgraded backup if we really get down to it. First base, Pete Alonso. 35 years young Pete Alonso. The problem is he does not fit the team. 1 year of Pete Alonso is not worth stifling Chunky's development. But if Pete Alonso was there a previous year, he would have gotten an offer from the Cardinals. Same for Rhys Hoskins or Nolan Schanuel. Second base, Ketel Marte is declining. You got Bryce Terang, Zach Geloff, Matt McLean. I mean, there's a couple of second basemen, but they're all looking for 5-year deals, which is kind of rough. No one's really hitting the lights out. outside of Otto Lopez, who is the oldest of the bunch. Or we just go for old-ass Ketel Marte. But again, he is declining quickly. So we'll see. We'll see about Ketel. Third base, Jordan Westberg, Mark Vientos, Joseph Ortiz, and David Fry. So all these guys looking for 5-year deals. I mean, Westberg is the best of the bunch. He is expensive. Very, very expensive. Max Schumann is honestly looking... Yeah, Max Schumann's looking decent, but not that much higher rated than Brett Beatty, and he won't be for too much longer. Shortstop, Zach Neto. Mason Wynn, who we're not going back to. Willie Castro could be a decent stopgap if we go for a year. Garrett Hampson, Xavier Edwards. I mean, Willie Castro could be a decent stopgap at shortstop. Could be. Left field, Wyatt Langford. The shortstop market would have been a lot worse. Yeah. Also got Helio Ramos. Langford with just a 582 OPS. Ugh. He's got the power against lefties, but man, not so much against righties. He is dinger or bust. I mean, I'm still interested in, as opposed to having Ciani. Although, I mean, he is a good fielder. It's not bad. There's Ramos, Jared Kelenick's out there. How much of an improvement is he? I mean, he does have the dingers. Only wants a 2-year deal for Kelenic. That's not bad. Langford's just Nelson Cruz in disguise, right? Oscar Hernandez, Nolan Jones. Center field, Jackson Merrill at 26. The fact that he's 26 is very appealing when looking for a 5-year deal. There's Brenton Doyle. Got Jacob Young as well. Young-Hoo Lee. I mean, Merrill is... Yeah, I mean, Langford certainly is a nice idea, but Jackson Merrill... He is Michael Ciani, but better at the plate. And then in right, Brent Rooker, but he's 35. Seiya Suzuki, same thing. Colton Cowser, Wilyer Abreu. I think Jackson Merrill out of all of them. I mean, Castro at shortstop isn't bad, but Merrill's definitely a target. And then pitching-wise, for closers, Mason Miller at 31. Damn. 75 strikeouts to 16 walks. Fucking A. And obviously, you got the older guys like Scott, Helsley. Relievers, Cade Smith, Chris Bubich, Orion Kirkring. There's some good relievers, but there's no doubt, like, we got to be in on Paul Skeens. We have to be. We have no choice. Like, that, first and foremost, above all, like, we are going to be in on Paul Skeens. If we go in for Jackson Merrill, it only drops that motivation boost by a percentage. These are the top 2 targets. We don't want to affect their motivation anymore. We're going for Skeens and we're going for Merrill. These are the type of players we have been waiting for. We waited for Henderson as well last year. We just missed out, but we're in immediately on these two above all else. And it would certainly probably be a better, use of the money, a better way to spend the money over Juan Soto. So those are the targets here. And we'll see what the situation ends up being. So we did get the renewal on Eric Goodson. Spencer Strider added by the Cubs. That's fine. Okay, so Merrill is close to having the motivation we need to offer him a deal. we got some work to do with Skeens. We got a lot of work to do with Skeens. We're just holding firm with where we are right now. Now or never for Jackson Merrill. We're going. We're going. Most we can offer is a 7-year deal. We'll up it to $30 million a year. It only gets us to 59% motivation, but we're going for it. I needed more time. But yeah, we're going in for Jackson Merrill. It's the best we can do. I don't think we're going to get him on 57%. We got him! Yes! On 57%! Whoo! We finally got one of the big names. Jackson Merrill, welcome in. I mean, granted, we gave him freaking 2 more years and $6 million more per. We had to spend to do it. But Jackson Merrill is a Cardinal, and we no longer have that big issue to worry about in center field. Awesome. Awesome. As Pete Alonso, and it is true, he is only 26. That's exactly why I was willing to give him the term. Pete Alonso heads to the Red Sox on a 1-year deal worth $21.7 million. I'd be so happy. Walker Jenkins, 25A and a 77, the right fielder, has been traded to Kansas City from Miami for Cyrus Coiler. Fair enough. AF2, what's going on? Cade Smith also off to Boston. 4-year deal worth $12 million per year. Jigsy as well. It is a sim series for us. When we get into playoff games, if it's an interesting scenario, I do jump in and watch AI versus AI. But franchise mode, I typically don't do anything gameplay related. Who got Skeens? Nobody yet. Nobody yet. All right, Wyatt Langford is on his way to Kansas City. So we'll take him off of our list. But again, we did land Jackson Merrill. Now, I know he can play infield. He probably won't. We probably will have him in center. But yeah, I mean, he provides a bit more offense than Ciani while having similar defense. I mean, I said we were going to be spending the money. It was just a matter of when. And we are still... Ooh, Skeens is up to 45% motivation. We are not talking to anybody else until we hear from Paul Skeens. We're not talking to Castro, Marte, nobody. He is the only target right now. We are going all in for Paul Skeens. No doubt. Now we actually have too many people in our organization after some re-signings. So hopefully that did not remove Paul Skeens from my list. Who can we ditch? I imagine it's quite a few people. Does it still have the random fill? Yeah, like Khalil Watson, get rid of you. This Scrub-a-Dub, get rid of you, get rid of you. These were just the filler players that we had signed this year. Normally they just disappear from the list, but we haven't hit that point of the window yet. All right, do not stop simulating. Now or never. Fuck, give me more time. Mariners, Dodgers, Cubs. Paul, we're going all in, buddy. All in. 9 years, $51 million a year, buddy. I said we were going all in. We're going all in. It's my only shot of getting him. It's my only shot. I don't think we're getting him. Merrill was surprising enough. Fuck, we didn't get him. He's off to the Cubs. 6 years, $42 million a year. We were ready. We were in on him from the first day. But we just didn't have enough time to convince him. Paul Skeens to the Cubs for $42 million a year. Damn. He did take less. And again, that has to do with the motivation and all those different factors. We tried. Now, Hunter Green, not interested yet. So really quickly, just to double check, again, we did not need a catcher. It's not a very wise use of the money right now. Honestly, no matter who we bring in at catcher, it's not great because if they're better at the plate, it might play them over Salas. We're not getting a catcher. First base, we're set. We're set. Second base, if we wanted to go for Ketel Marte on a one-year filler type of player, I'm good with that. I don't really like the looks of Bryce Terang. Yeah, the last 2 years, he just hasn't been strong enough at the plate to justify that money. Very similar to Mason Wynn. Zach Gelof. Zach would be worth it more so, but I don't want to give him a 5-year deal. We might be able to get him down to 3. Otto Lopez wants 5, so again, at best, we'd be able to get him down to 3. I'm not necessarily sold on any of those second basemen. And yeah, at second base, we did have a guy that nearly won Rookie of the Year and would have if he played the full term. Third base, Westberg is still there. However, he wants a 5-year deal, so we'd have to work on him a little bit. How is he defensively? He's good. We'd have to work on him a little bit. But that is definitely something to consider, depending on what other options are out there, right? Shortstop is Mason Wynn, who I'm not turning back to. There's no way. So again, there's also that idea of Willie Castro. Maybe even like a Garrett Hampson on just like a 1-year kind of prove-it deal. Xavier Edwards is not good enough defensively. So, yeah, like, let's see. So, I mean, shortstop, again, Castro, maybe. Hampson, maybe, but not top-tier priority compared to Westberg. Left field, I didn't mind Jared Kelenic, but we don't necessarily need him now. I guess you could make the argument if we were to play, our new center fielder at shortstop or second where he can play, there would be room for Jared. He's not the best fielder in the world, but he's not the worst. There's also Teoscar Hernandez, who, as well could play that corner outfield spot. Like left field, I'm still going to put in that maybe category. But again, with Jackson Merrill signed, like we wouldn't go for Brenton Doyle necessarily. Brent Rooker on like a 1-year deal. There are other players we could go for to try to improve the team. But we got to look instead of like the short-term stopgaps. We got to look for the big changes. So again, we go back to closers. Mason Miller, phenomenal last season. Only 31 years old and wants a 3-year deal. That is a hell of a player to target. And then obviously there's some veterans that we could also give a chance to. Relievers, there's Owen Kirkering, who's only 28. Have I seen goat difficulty? I have. I don't know if I dare touch it. I'm scared. 358 FIP. Kirkering's not bad. Miller is better. But obviously Kirkering's younger. That's also not bad. And then for the starters, Spencer Strider, but he's 31 and wants a 6-year deal, so we know it's going to age pretty poorly. Hunter Green, but he's 30, wants a 6-year deal. There is Jared Jones, but ERAs haven't been overly impressive. FIP ratings haven't been overly impressive. That's too much. That's a bit too much. Bryce Miller, Grayson Rodriguez. So there are some decent pitchers. Kyle Harrison. Have the Twins been good? They've won 2 World Series in this timeline already. So Terry O wants to collaborate, does he? Fucking declined. Taj Bradley's not bad either. At 28, too. I think there's enough starters that we could go for. I think we have our targets here. That's Jordan Westberg, Mason Miller, and Owen Kerkering. Those are the next 3 targets. You could argue go like all in for Westberg, but let's take a look at what the interest level is going to be. Taj Bradley feels like he should be open 28. I don't disagree. Son of a bitch, we've had no chance. Miller is at 47%, though. We're going for him. We're going to fight. He was, what, 31? 5-year deal to bring him to 36 is a bit scary. Miller was 31, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, a 3-year deal to bring him to age 34, overspend to get him. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can bring in Mason Miller. Backstop to the pen. A little bit more than I wanted to spend, but we didn't have time. I don't think we got him, man. No, off to Detroit. 4 years, $20 million per. We just got to the conversation too late for Miller. Dang. Zamboni, give for Mioli. Bouncy, that doesn't quite work. Thank you for the 21 on the primer. Welcome back. Congrats on the new job, by the way. I don't know if that play on words works the way you thought it did. I get what you're going for, though. All right. Well, we got to wait for the next window to open. Framber Valdez on his way to Pittsburgh. $31 million a year for 3 years. Hunter Green on his way to Toronto. 8 years, $30 million for the 30-year-old. Spencer Strider on his way to the Giants. 7 years, $38.5 million per at age 31. That is money I don't think I would have been comfortable spending, if we're being honest. So we're still talking to Westberg. We have a lot of work to do. Still trying to fight for Kerkering as well. I think we stay fighting for these 2. And then we consider others later. Jared Jones, off to the Pirates, 5 years, $27 million per. Good luck with that. I ran out of characters. Fair enough. That brings us to the 2029 draft lottery. Now, I did leave it a surprise, right? I didn't take a look at the wild card standings this time like I normally do. I wanted that element of surprise to see where we are. We are projected at 7th. With 72 wins, 90 losses, so a 5.5% chance. This is ideally the last time we're going to be in this high-end lottery situation. Let's see who's winning this lottery. Let's see. I don't think it'll be us. We haven't had too much lottery luck. And it's not. Angels hold at 1. Nats at 2, Rangers at 3. The Rockies are the big winners, moving up 4 spots and pushing us back to number 8. We're used to picking around there, aren't we? So fair enough. The Twins have 2 World Series and are picking 5th. Correct. Ridiculous, isn't it? Brenton Doyle goes back to Miami. Kale Garcia, not interested, buddy. Still working on Westberg. Still working on Kerkering. So that'll get us to the Rule 5 draft, in which I can't imagine we're participating here. Again, at catcher, we're fine. First base, Luke and Baker. Again, we're fine. Second base, could technically go for like Oliver Dunn instead of Ozzie Batista to give Ozzie a little bit more development time. We could also just go with Juan Bin Cho. Third base, of course, Garcia might get moved back to second as well. Yeah, I can't imagine we're taking anybody here. Of course, Lombard at shortstop is still a bit of an issue unless we move Gonzalez over, which we might. But also, I mean, we did just bring in someone who can play shortstop. Mike Sirota. I mean, like, Chris Castro is not bad, but, you know. Javi Assad. Evan McKay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. No picks this year. Thank you. Orion Kerkering. We're competing with KC and LA. Goes out saying, sir, it doesn't need to be said, but I miss being here. Got up here now. Your most recent YouTube vids, but keep me saying coming home from work. Well, I'm still going to call you Bouncy. Thank you for that. And again, it's never the best streaming time for everybody, right? 4-year deal for the Kerkering. 10.5 mil. Let's try it. Orion Kerkering goes to the Royals. Oh, 2 years, $9 million. So we missed out on both of the big-time relievers we were looking for. Bryce Miller goes to the Reds. Big deal for him. All right. Brent Rooker back to the Athletics. Ketel Marte back to Atlanta. So we are all in on Jordan Westberg now. Doesn't matter who else is there. We got to be all in. Got to be all in. Alec Boehm gets traded to Cincy. Grayson Rodriguez back to the Giants. And we're still fighting for Westberg. Still fighting. Julian Colon on his way for Alberto De La Rosa. It's a 23, 79, and an A for 21B and a 77. I mean, okay. Jackson Merrill is saying, so you said there'd be more coming. Yeah. How do you feel about being Juan Soto? And Seiya Suzuki got a decent deal. Brandon Pfaadt got a big deal. All right, Mr. Westberg. We could send him the big deal. He's 31. We drop you to 3 years, but then overspend to get you. 3 years, $23.5 million, Jordan. What do you think? First competitive offer, we just got a 5% boost. Are we going to get Jordan Westberg as well? Come on. Come on. Jackson Merrill, Jordan Westberg. That's a decent free agent class. We didn't get Paul Skeens, but we're not missing out on everybody. We do get Jordan Westberg to try and help fill out this roster and push this younger core up. So I'm happy about it. Bouncy, so far so good for the most part, man. So far so good. All right, so let's look at this, man. We get Jordan Westberg into the infield. I don't know where yet. And then we also add Jackson Merrill to this roster. And again, I don't quite know where he's going to be playing yet. Could be outfield, could be infield. But you add, again, Carter, Walker, Herrera, Chunky, Salas. Like, the pitching staff isn't that bad. We are missing a Paul Skeens, but we tried. Okay, now we do have room to still go after some other people. Second base, didn't like Bryce Turang. Zach Galoff is there, which again, we could go after him. Keyword is could. He's decent defensively. The arm's not great, but at least the accuracy's good. Could go after him just to continue to push and really give us options in the infield. Third base, Joseph Ortiz, David Fry. I mean, Max Schumann's not a terrible fit. And then shortstops, you still have Garrett Hampson as well, who could be a decent fit since Castro's gone. So right now, outside of Geloff, maybe, there's no, like, unbelievable players to still go for. Could still go for Kelenic. Got a Rosarena out there. Rojas, Kyle Isbell, Wilyer Abreu, with Rooker gone. Let's take a look at the pitching one more time. So, closers, Devin Williams is there. It's all the veterans. Williams, Hader, Munoz. Obviously, Chris Bubich is still out there as well. Bubby. And for starters, Jordan Hicks, Alec Marsh, Logan Webb. If we look at the depth chart, I mean, one more big reliever, one more big starter is probably the biggest need on this team. I mean, 32-year-old Chris Bubich, he's not bad. 52 saves. He's been doing really well. 2 years, $10 million a year really isn't that bad. And then for starters, I mean, bringing in Logan Webb, like, he might be 33, but bringing him in for the year might not be bad. You got Mitchell Parker, Max Mayer. Not bad. Honestly, Max Mayer or Logan Webb. Webb had a rough year last year. 151 to 51. 121 to 60. Mayer might be worthy. He wants a 4-year deal. Some of those per nines aren't amazing, though. Whereas they are still up there a bit for Webb. As Gavin Williams. Yeah, I mean, 4.53 ERA last year. And it wasn't necessarily the defense's fault, so. If we can get Logan Webb for the year, I don't hate it. Again, Merrill, Westberg, Gonzalez, Garcia. Does Geloff make a bunch of sense? And honestly, do we even need the depth? We already have decent depth options. If we save that money and leave that open, it might allow us to pull off a big trade mid-season. So, like, Hampson. Because, yeah, Geloff wanted $18 million a year. Schoenemann wanted 12. Hampson wanted 17. I think if we leave that money open, it might allow us to pull off some bigger deals. So let's focus on these two. And Geloff goes to San Diego. So yeah, he got a 6-year deal. We We made the right choice. I wasn't going to be able to compete with him to save my life. Not much motivation from Bubby, but Logan Webb is willing to listen. 1-year deal, and I will pay you a bunch of money. Bunch of money. You're not getting more money from anybody else other than me. That is the deal, to try to bring in Logan Webb as a veteran presence, and he's gone. And it's now or never for the Bubic as well. We have had some bad luck negotiating with the pitchers here, haven't we? We have had some bad luck. All right, Bubby. Let's see what we can do. I mean, there's really not much I can do. 2 years, 12 and a half, man. Let's see. I highly doubt there's any chance of him coming here, but worth a shot. Again, we just got into the conversation a bit too late. Yeah. Not gonna happen. He's off to the Red Sox. Yeah, not much help on the pitching front. Santiago Espinal, no thank you. So we got a first base, Herrera, Harris. Second base, Garcia, Gonzalez, Batista, Cho. Shortstop, Lombard, Weatherholtz. Obviously, Merrill might be playing there. Westberg at third, Brett Beatty. I mean, Westberg might even be moved over to second, so Beatty can play. I mean, one pitching staff isn't bad. We just don't have that ace that Paul Skeens would have been. I don't hate the way this roster's lining up right now. One can argue whether or not another addition would help. I might talk to him. Shortstop, Jose Caballero. What's your defense like? Not bad. Maybe we talk to Caballero. And then, again, there's still the likes of Jared Kelenic in left, Arozarena, Teoscar Hernandez, Jesus Sanchez. Had himself a heck of a year at the plate for Cincy. Matt Wallner is pretty similar. But for relievers, I think we're probably good. Although Ryan Walker, Jesus. Walker and Pete Fairbanks, those numbers are pretty ridiculous. Obviously, this guy's going to be getting worse. I mean, like signing Fairbanks on a 1-year deal. And Mitch Parker. Mitch Parker isn't too bad. Now the FIP rating, though. His defense was helping him out a bit. Imanaga, Cortez. Matt Manning is not so bad. We still have so much money to spend. But there are also players on this team now that are fighting for... Look at the Blues. The Blues are players on expiring deals heading into next year. We've made 2 big gets with Merrill and Westberg. We know there's probably more trades coming. I think we hold from here. Like, yes, we still have some weak spots on this team, but I think we hold. We wait to see what the development is from the rest of the players. And that way, we still have plenty of open cap space to re-sign players we might need to re-sign. Or, if we're a good team next year, but someone who's on an expiring deal is struggling, we will then have the ability to trade them and bring back a big impact player instead. So I think we are in a decent little spot here. Obviously, I'm going to have to fill out the team. as we always do. But at catcher, it's perfectly fine. You know, Bernal, De La Cruz, whoever the backup is, whatever. Because Herrera can also play that spot. Chunky Harris is on the roster this year. But we have Gonzalez, who will be somewhere in the infield. Don't know where yet. But second base is a pretty good spot for him. Brought in Westberg. Still have Garcia, whose deal is up. Beatty's deal is going to be up. So for as much money as we have, we're still going to have a lot more. But yeah, where these guys are located right now doesn't necessarily mean that's where they're going to play. But adding Merrill and Westberg, that's a good bit of intent, even if we didn't land Paul Skeens. And again, this rotation overall-wise isn't bad. It's just going to come down to player performance. But even James Bond is ready to go. Bill Ullman is ready to go. So there could be a fair amount of trades as well. Like the roster as it sits right now, no guarantee that's what it looks like by the end of spring training. So we'll see.